Hello everyone, it's Tom. Today in this video I will show you a complete Witch Doctor speed guide with the new Mundunugu's Regalia class set. Firstly, I will check this build in an 80 level speed GR. After that I will talk about another variants for T16 speed farming, deathbed farming and bounties. Now let's see the Mundunugu's Regalia class set in a few words quickly. 2-piece, Big Bad Voodoo now follows you and lasts twice as long. 4-piece, gain 60% damage reduction for 30 seconds when you enter the Spirit round. This makes the cooldown reduction an important part of this build. And with the 6-piece, the Spirit Barrage deals 20,000% increased damage, plus an additional percent, which is equal to 5 times your mana regeneration. It's connected to 2-piece bonus. How does this build work with this set? So the main damage dealer is the Spirit Barrage. Basically, the key elements a really high percent cooldown reduction, increased attack and movement speed, and a good resource management to support Spirit Barrage well. I mean, on the one hand you have to increase your mana regeneration, and thanks to the 6-piece bonus Spirit Barrage damage will be higher. And on the other hand, and almost with full mana pool, you can easily cast another spells to buff your Spirit Barrage damage to higher level. These things will determine our skill and item choices. Let's see how. Firstly, let's check the Speed GR version. There are two mandatory items in this build. One of them is the ceremonial knife, the Barber. With this, the Spirit Barrage now accumulates on target, and when you stop casting it, explodes up to 500% of the accumulated damage to all enemies within 15 yards. To maximize its efficiency, put into the cube. But there is another reason for this. The Barber can roll with mana regeneration, which can be between 12 and 14. To be honest, it's not too much if you remember the 6-piece bonus of the new set. So to avoid this, we will use Echoing Fury on our character. It increases DPS via attack speed bonus and gives extra movement speed thanks to Frenzy 5 stacks. The important stats here, plus damage and cooldown reduction. Okay, I know we lose a little amount of mana regeneration, but cooldown reduction will directly increase our damage, thanks to another set which is the Captain Crimson Thrusts. It increases our damage and damage reduction thanks to cooldown and resource cost reduction. And it gives 20% cooldown and resource cost reduction too. But you can get more cooldown reduction on the Mundunugu's Regalia shoulders, and you should use Diamond Gem in the set helm. With Ring of the Royal Granger, you can use this set in the combination with Mundunugu's Regalia. Use this ring in the cube. As for the cube armor slot, use Mask of Gerard. It provides up to 200% damage to Spirit Barrage. The another mandatory item that increases your Spirit Barrage damage to higher level is the Gazing Demise module. And thanks to this, Spirit Barrage gains the Phantasm rune. So we can choose another important one, which is Manitou. Necessary stats here: crit chance, cooldown reduction and Spirit Barrage damage. To be honest, really hard to get a proper one with this set combination. But there are two other item slots where we can use an item with plus Spirit Barrage damage stat: the Mundunugu's Regalia helm and boots. And finally, the last item that increases your damage up to 300% is the Ring of Emptiness. To get this buff, the enemies have to affect it with your Hound or Locust One. Ideal stat: int, crit chance and damage and socket. We use Locust One with Pestilence rune. This makes it much easier to get this plus damage. So we have to cast constantly Locust One, but unfortunately resource demand is quite high. To balance this, we use Big Bad Voodoo with Rain Dance rune. It restores 250 mana per second. But we use passive skills for more resource. First is Rush of Essence. When you use Spirit Barrage, Spirit Walk and Soul Harvest, these spells return 100 mana over 10 seconds. The another is Gruesome Feast. When you pick a health globe, you gain 10% of your mana and 10% int for 15 seconds. The int bonus stack up to 5 times. Now the cooldown and resource management and our damage output is okay. As for the movement speed, the Echoing Fury 5 Frenzy stack is just one thing. But this build uses more skills which are improve the movement speed. First, the Spirit Walk with Severance rune. It increases your movement speed by additional 100% while you in the Spirit round. This skill also increases your toughness thanks to Mundunugu's Regalia 4 piece bonus. Another skill is the Soul Harvest, with soul to waste through. It provides plus damage via in bonus and 5% movement speed for each enemy harvested. Lastly, an active and passive skill combination for more movement speed. This is the Summon Zombie Dog skill with Leeching Beast Room for healing and Fierce Loyalty for movement speed bonus. To increase the efficiency of Leeching Beast Rune effect, you need a Bracers with life on hit stat. In this build, we use Nemesis Bracers for more progress growth. The ideal stats: cold damage, int, crit chance and life on hit. Now let's analyze this build and the used skill rotation and item combination in action against an elite packs. During this time I will introduce some remaining skills and other important items. The skill rotation and gameplay style are useful in lower build variants too. Before you start to fight with elite pack, make sure your zombie dogs with life leech are active, and Big Bad Voodoo is also important for constant mana regen. And if you remember the Mundunugu's Regalia 4 piece bonus, use Spirit Walk for damage reduction. For more damage, you need a high stack int from Soul Harvest and Gruesome Feast if it's possible. Before you hit your enemies with Spirit Barrage, make sure you have already hit them with Locust Swarm to damage bonus, just remember the Ring of Emptiness. During this fight, the Grave Injustice passive skill is really useful, thanks to health and mana regeneration and cooldown reduction. Toughness could be a problem with this set, so in solo I used Unity as third ring, but in a group speed GR you can use Stone of Jordan or Convention of Elements ring with Cold Circle. And if another player uses Nemesis Bracers, you can use Lacumba's Ornaments for more damage reduction with Soul Harvest. Lastly, as for the amulets, Flower of Time, because it has CDI, and you can able to use pylon effects for a double time. It could be useful in a speed GR. The main problem with this, it's really hard to get a proper one, which is rolled well, because we need cold damage, crit chance and damage and socket, and cooldown reduction. With legendary gem choices we support this build and game style. Firstly, Bane of the Trap, it gives more damage and movement speed reduction to our enemies. The next is the Bane of the Powerful. Probably with high level it is constant 20% damage buff and increase your damage and damage reduction against elite packs. Enforcer increases pet damage. As you can see, I used only 800 Paragon Level and non-ancient items in an 80 level GR. A better gear and more Paragon you can go easily higher, around between 85 and 90. Now let's check the another variants like T16 Speed Drift, Bounties and Death Web Farming. Firstly, T16. You only need few changes. Skill set is the same as Speed GR version. In T16 you don't need too much damage, so change Mask of Jerem to Gold Wrap in Q. And you should change Unity to Average Brand Ring with Boon of Hoarder Legendary Gem instead of the Bane of the Powerful Gem. You lose Unity, but you have more than enough toughness thanks to Gold Wrap. A little addition to Bounty's version. Instead of Nemesis Bracers, use these arm guards for more movement speed. And lastly, the Death Web Farming version. The skills are the same as the simple T16. You only need to change one thing. Use 2 pieces of Sage set instead of Captain Crimson set. 2 pieces are enough thanks to Ring of Real Granger. You will lose some damage, but the rest will be enough for T16 farming. I think we covered everything. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, please hit the thumbs up, and if you would like to see more guides, please subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.